So, it says you say you're in, but it doesn't say when anyone's on here. I don't know if you can hear me. I have never done this before. Oh, there we go. Now I see one viewer. Okay. Do you have a microphone? Because I can just talk, but it might be kind of hard to know like what questions you have and things like that. Okay. Let's see. So there is a chat box
in this program over here. So if you needed to ask a question or something, you can type in there. I think you can open up the chat box if it's not open by clicking this blue button up here. Because I feel like I'll just start rambling if I don't know what you want to see. So is there anywhere, like, anything you want me to start on? Whoa. It's not visible. It's sort of on the left side, the very top, this little blue square looking thing called, if you hover over it, it says chat, and this chat box pops up on the side, on the right side, at least for me. Okay, let's see your Facebook message. So you could ask questions there so I know what you want to see, or if you're confused about something. So I don't know if you can see my screen right now, but my mouse, I'm pointing at the chat box. But yeah, it might just be better if you type your questions in Facebook message, since you can't find it. So, do you want to start with Like, I'm not sure where you want to start actually, so you just let me know. I can show you. Okay. So if you have someone you want to add as a client, like you've already booked them for something, then they're just not in the system yet. Over here, when you log in, there's the contacts and then clients. You want to click on that. And then it's going to show you a list of all of your clients right now that you've entered. And over here on the right, there's a big button that says Add a Client, and you want to click on that. And now you can enter the information. So I already have my brands set up, so Jacqueline Schmitz Photography. I'm going to be adding a wedding client. If you chose non-wedding, that's for things like portraits, like family sessions, headshots, business stuff. And it really only matters because of the different roles that pop up. So if you pick wedding, your client, you'll get the option like, are they a bride, groom, mother of the groom, whatever. But if you choose non-wedding, it changes the roles. So now it says father, mother, son, daughter, things like that. So I'm going to add a wedding client because that's what I do. I'm just going to say it's a bride. And you can start entering their information. So let's say just bride, test. I'll just put in my email in case we need to show you how emailing works. You can do address. The nice thing is if you enter the zip code, the city and state automatically pop up. So I just put in 05468, and that's my town, Milton, Vermont. And this stuff, this general contact info, like, just kind of ignore it. It's there if you want to use it, but I never use this stuff. And I'd hit create client. So make sure you're not missing any of your questions. And as soon as you hit create client, it asks if you want to edit the client. So I would say yes. And now it kind of gives you an overview. And here is where you would add an event, like their wedding or a portrait session, whatever you're going to kind of do with this client. Projects are things like if you want to keep track of an album that you're making, something else, kind of like a physical item that you have to work on. And then categories, I have it already set up automatically that all new wedding clients get this 2015 wedding category. You can always add whatever category you want. It's nice to have a category for them, so when you sort them, so if you go back to clients and you want to sort your clients, it's easy to do by category. So just do filter right here, and then I pick wedding, 2015 wedding, and now I can see all the brides that I'm going to have for this year. Let's see, I have to remember to go back to your chat. I already added the client. How do I send the contract? Okay, so I'm going to go to my test here. And up at the top, let's see. Well, first we want to create the event, so that'll make things easier down the road. So it'll just be wedding test. Make it a wedding. I'm going to say they're getting married this Saturday. And I'll add that it's going to start at 1 a.m. So now, let's see. Okay, so now that this is the basic overview of the event, and at the top here, there's an option, contract. So if you click on that and you hit create new contract, so invoice, if you have some terms in your contract that you want to automatically populate, like, oh, they picked, you know, you bought a $5,000 wedding package and you have to pay $500 up front, you can populate that. That would be under here, but you have to set that up in the templates first, which I don't have set up because I do it a little differently. But here's my brand, and then I'm going to choose, so I already created my wedding photography contract in the templates. So I'm just picking that, and then I title it like, you know, bride and groom wedding contract. And then it's populated, so it's already popping up here. So this is where it pulls my invoice items, and they're not appearing in here because this process is a little different from what I usually do. So it automatically added all the information that I already had set up. So their name, phone number, address, and then all of my stuff here. And then I can hit save contract. And then it's going to ask if you want to edit it, and I say sure. So let me just see what you're saying. Yeah, so you'd want to attach an invoice with the contract. That just kind of makes sense that they would both go together. So I would say if you already know what your client wants, let me go back to them. Let me just create an invoice. So we have the event, so we'll go back to their wedding. It's this Saturday, and we'll add an invoice first. This will make a little more sense to do this first. So create an invoice. And then, so again, I've already set these up in the templates. So I'm just going to say that they bought my basic collection. And, you know, I issued it today, and it's due whenever you want to set it. I already have my sales tax. So just hit create invoice. Let's see here. And then, okay, so now we see the overview. So my invoice includes, you know, $2,500 basically. And then we will get that set up. So that's all saved. Now we'll go back to the wedding event. So now you'll see here's their invoice, $2,500 due. Now when we create the contract, I'm just going to delete this old one we made. So now you can see how it pulled up. This due on 1/31 because that's the one we just set up. And now when I select this, it should be in there. Yep. So now under details, you can see it automatically added what we just put in the invoice, $2,500. And I have a nice link to it. So now, oops, I'll name it whatever. And then the important part, at least for me for weddings, is this required payments. So you want to make sure you have something required so that they don't just sign the contract and they don't pay you anything. Like I want a retainer. So I go in here and you can set any amount, like I want a $700 retainer. And then, yeah, so then you would hit save, and then after they sign the contract, the little window is going to pop up and it says, okay, now you must pay $700. And that'll be all good to go. Let's see. Yeah, so they'll get to sign it. You don't have to add any like special signature box. It's automatically added. So I can send this to me. So I'll just hit send contract. And now I also have this all set up already. So this little pre-designed template. So it's going to be, okay, here's the contract link, the login and password. I'm going to hit send. All right, oh, I got to add a recipient here. Let's see. Oh, let's see. Add a recipient. Oh, if you ever need to edit anything, just click this little view thing. It'll toggle over to edit. And then you can see the contract looks good and it's fine. Oh, so here's recipient. So I'm going to add the bride that we've already entered. I put my email in there already. So now when we hit send, all right. Yes, we want to send it. If they don't want to sign, then they could just email you and be like, hey, I don't want to sign it, or can you make a change in the contract? And you can edit the contract after you've sent it to them, as long as they haven't signed it already. And then you can update it and resend it to them, and they can be like, okay, I like those changes, and then they can sign it if they want. And I added initials because I like them to be able to initial after certain parts of the contract, just to kind of show that they paid attention to what it said. And that's an option you can add when you create your contract. But I'll show you kind of now what the client sees. So let's see. So all right, so now I'm the client and I'm in my email. And I see that my wedding photographer says, all right, here's the contract. So when I click the link, it's going to ask for the email and password, which is right here. So obviously this title up here would be nicer. It would say something like wedding photography contract, but I just put that in really quick. All right, so now I can see the contract, all the details. I'll go over here and enter my initials. So you can see there is an option to reject the contract if someone wanted, but usually if my client doesn't like something, they'll just email me and be like, hey, can you change this? And then they just type their name in, and then they also kind of have to sign with your finger and sign the contract. And now, because I added that required payment of $700, it's saying, all right, you must do this. You could hit cancel, but then, you know, their event hasn't been officially booked. So they would eventually need to do this part. And I'm not going to continue because I'm not going to charge myself. And then, and see, now Pixifier automatically updated me that the contract's been signed. So it always sends you emails when stuff has happened. So that's always nice to see. So that's one way of sending off a contract and invoice, but what I prefer to do is to send a proposal. I think it's a lot easier. So I can show you that. So we go back to the event, and then up here, Let's see. Actually, no, we have to go to the client. And right here is proposal. Let's see. Yeah, so I have it set up with my website. So I have my logo in there. And yeah, so it just makes it look nice. So it's part of your business brand. But I'll show you the proposal. So create a new proposal. It's kind of like creating a quote for someone. And I already have a template set up, so that's what I'm going to show you. And it's an event. So weddings are always events. So we'll just say wedding photography for bride test. So wedding, let's see, bride and groom wedding. I'll just name it. And we'll say that they're getting married next month. We'll see what his ceremony again is at 1 a.m. We'll save, and now we're going to edit the proposal. So now we can add all of our little options. So I already have this proposal template set up. So a lot of this stuff is filled in. Yeah, all these templates are over here, and it's good to get these set up first. And then once you do it, you don't have to worry about it later. So here you can see I already have my wedding photography contract set up. So that's in there. Staff, that would be me. Workflow, so that's my wedding. So I have a couple different ones, but my wedding workflow. And the workflow it keeps track of all of your steps. So you can remind yourself, like, okay, I shot the wedding. Now, cull the wedding, edit the photos, put up a blog post, and it has deadlines. So you can kind of keep track of where you're at. And then payment terms, so that's that same thing. I've set up a payment term where $700 is due immediately. That's the retainer. And then 50% is due 4 months before the wedding, and 50% or basically the remaining balance is due a month before the wedding. So that's in there. You can set up a reminders if you want to remind the client about something. You're like, hey, don't forget, like you owe me money at this time. And then down here is kind of like the pricing sheet part of the proposal. So I already have my packages set up, all of my add-ons like albums, portrait session. You could add a coupon or discount if you wanted. But otherwise, it looks good. If you ever want to kind of view it before the client sees it, you can hit this publish and view, and then it's going to show you a preview. So this is what my collections page looks like. I've already set all this stuff up. And I can kind of go through it and be like, all right, I'm going to choose this package and just make sure my add-ons look good, and they do. They're in there. You can hit continue, and it kind of shows you that, and then the review page. And this is the part I like about the proposal. So when I don't like having to enter their phone number and email and address and all that stuff, I'd rather have them do it. So, because I'm lazy and I just don't want to get that information from them. So ordinarily here, these would all be blank, and they'd be like, okay, I'm Jacqueline, and my address is this, and my groom's name is that, and they would fill in all this stuff. And then they would be, and then the last half is like what I showed you before. So we'd sign the contract just like we did before. There's all the stuff that I just picked. And I'd initial again, I'd sign it, and then it would take me to pay the retainer, the required payment. And then that would be it. So the proposal just kind of combines all the various things like the invoice and the contract and kind of puts it all together. So it's just a lot easier to book people. And then once they sign and everything, this gets updated. So like this is the workflow visualizer. So this is what I was telling you, kind of keeps track of where you're at in the process for various things. And I just booked this person today, and it automatically popped up right here. So now it's showing me what I need to do. You can see I haven't done much because I'm still getting, you know, it's 2015. It's the new year. But you can just check off things, and yeah, it's really handy. Yeah, so I can show you the templates. So they're all in here. So this is probably the most important part to set up, just to make your life easier. And so, like, contract template, that's where you would set up your wedding photography contract. So I can show you mine. So here it is. So the cool thing is these little funny bracket things, those are your contract variables. So whenever you want it to say something specific for that client, you can enter a variable. So like bride's name, I want it to be the first and last name, and that will just automatically fill in from whatever the bride entered when she filled out the proposal. Same with their address, their email, and like the details. So this would be like the invoice, all this stuff. So if I just wanted to add anything, you can. So lots of different things. Like for some reason, if I want like their birthday to appear on the contract, you just click that, and then boom, client birthday gets put in, and it'll appear if you want. And then same with like the little, you can see add an initial box or add a check box if you want them. So that's what I have here. And let's see. So I can show you the packages. This does take some time to get set up because you need to have all of your various products. So before you can create a package, you need your products. And that would be here. So here's all my various items, and then how much they cost. You know, you enter all that stuff. So it's like you can add pictures if you want, a description. I haven't done that. I just kind of put in the cost to them, the cost to me, what year, if you want to keep track of like if you change prices for each year or something like that, if it's taxable. And once you get all these products set up, then you can create your packages. And that's what I've done here. So if I add a package, you can call it whatever you want. Let's see. Oh, let's see. Oh, yeah. You can do it. You can manually enter your contract for each client, but that's just a hassle doing it every single time. So once you have it in a template, you never have to enter it again. It's just there, which is really nice. So if I was making a test package, I'm going to be like, it's going to be my $5,000 package. And then you can enter a month and a year, and that's just handy. So you like can keep track. If you create multiple, if you change your package every year, you can be like, oh, what did I do in 2013? And you can look. And then you can have a description if you wanted, blah, blah, blah. This package is wonderful. You could add a picture. And now once I saved it, I can edit it by just clicking on it. And now here's where you would add whatever products are in your package. So that's why it's important to set up your products first. And so you can create them manually right here if you want, but if you create it manually, it's not going to be saved into the system. It's only going to be saved in this one package. That's why it's nice to have these templates so you don't have to re-enter info over and over. So I can say that my package includes a second photographer and copy the options, and you say yes, so that just brings in everything from the template that I already set up. And you'd hit save. I can add a USB, whatever, save. And let's say I wanted to add a portrait session, but like now I want to change the price. I can make my portrait session $1,000. Save. And you can see down here, kind of little stats, which is handy. Let's see. Do you record your mileage, tax stuff for write-offs? Yeah, so you can do that. That would be in the finance section. So here's the mileage option. Now I don't use this. You can. The thing that stinks is you can't have like Google automatically calculate, like if you put in a client's location, because apparently Google charges a buttload of money to have that option. So you just kind of have to just do it by hand if you want. You can do the odometer, just the distance, be like 50 miles. I traveled on this date. You know, client meeting was, and then you can say, yes, I want it to be an expense. And you can be like, okay, we'll just say it's a fuel cost and add in how much the expense is and hit save. But since I don't use this, I like to just, since everything gets automatically synced in your Google Calendar, I just kind of go through the year and be like, okay, so Amber and Jared's wedding was at the Sheraton. And I just pull up the map and calculate how far away it was for me. And I'd be like, all right, 50 miles. And I just kind of put it in my notes to my accountant. But you can definitely put it in there if you wanted. Yeah, so you can, the nice thing is there's lots of export buttons. So export the mileage, you can do that. You can get an Excel spreadsheet if you want. So invoices, you can export your invoices. It's the same thing. You can export by year, by brand, and just hit export, and eventually it will load. There it is. So it's just zipping it, but yeah. So it's definitely handy. I know a lot of people have just hit export on their finances and then they send that right over to their accountant. Yeah, so you can print the contract. So we'll go into a client. We'll go back to our test. And your contract's right here. So these are the ones we set up. So when you click on it, you can hit preview contract, and it has a little printer symbol next to it. So when you click on that, it's going to open your PDF. And there it is. Now you can print it, do whatever you want, save a hard copy. Let's see, do you have your Pixifier link to your website? Okay, so I do have, yeah, I see what you're saying. So I do have a contact form, and I'll show you what that looks like. Website link. So Tim is currently working on like a booking module. I know it's coming, the plan is for it to come out pretty soon. And so that would be, yes, someone could go to your website, fill in their info, pick their portrait session date and what they want, do the invoice, do all of that stuff. So it'd be all, I'm guessing would be all pretty automatic. He doesn't quite have that yet. It's not ready. But the cool thing is, I mean, you get halfway there. So this is the contact form that I've set up. It's linked to Pixifier. So if someone says they want a wedding, they enter their date. And they're the bride test. Just enter the stuff. You can add or remove boxes. This is what I prefer to have. So they found me through Google, like I'm getting married. They would hit submit. And then they get this little thing. It says, thank you for your inquiry. You can, design whatever you want to pop up after they hit submit. And when it hits submit, let's see. Here we go, in my email, new lead. I can see all what they entered. I can go right to that lead by clicking on this link. And then this is really, I love having this because it tells me, look out, someone else is interested in this date, or look out, this date's already been booked. But these are just tests, so we don't have to worry about that. And then all you would do is, depending on their message and what they do, you can email them, confirm details, and they say, hey, yeah, we want to book, and then just send them a proposal, and then they can finish the booking process. And if you want to set up a questionnaire, you can do that with any of the clients. It's just another option up here. So again, another template. So I have a few different here. So I always like to ask them who their wedding vendors are and stuff like that. And if you hit yes on here, it's automatically going to send it. But if you hit no and you hit save, it'll now, let's see here, you can send it later. And this is what I have set up. So like, who's your florist, who's your cake artist, DJ, all that stuff. All right, glad I could help. You have a good night.